Hello YouTube, this is Wombat VVV and today I'm going to do a competition which is for wild boar or sanglier as they call it in France, I believe. I hope the French people are not laughing at my pronunciation though. Looks like we have to be over 900 to get anywhere close to the top three. Let's get into it. I'm hunting wild boar today. I've entered into a competition. It's the biggest boar starter competition. I basically just got to try and get the biggest or the highest scoring boar that I can, I believe. So I'll show you where I am on the map. We're here in Hirschfelden. It's the only place that has wild boars in the game. I started in a tent up the top here. I've got a feeder and a blind set up down here, which is where I am now. These things have been neglected. I haven't used them for quite a while, so the feed is empty and there's no boars around. I'm going to fill it up now. I started at 5 AM because I will be hunting for quite a few hours, I think, and the light will get better as I go along. I'm basically just going to walk around the fields, sort of glassing the fields on the map, glassing the edges of the fields, waiting for looking for tracks, waiting to hear calls, and hopefully we can get a big one. A big Christmas pork. It's the 25th of December today, 2016, so Merry Christmas everyone. Here in Sweden where I live we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, so last night I was at my girlfriend's family's place where we had what the Swedish call julbord, which means Christmas table. They have a traditional Christmas feast every year, which is a lot of pickled herrings, salmon, potatoes, pork, sausages, the famous Swedish meatballs, all of the good stuff. It was very, very yummy. I ate too much, drank a little too much beer, but that's what you do on Christmas. Just letting you know in case anyone's wondering why I'm playing computer games on Christmas Day, because Christmas Day is pretty slow in Sweden. It's the recovery day. I'll creep up to these fields. Hopefully my clothes will give me a little bit of camouflage sort of amongst this foliage. I've got the sneaky 3D fall forest jacket, the same type of gloves. I've got the Outback pants because they give a little bit of protection, visual, sound and scent against all animals. Same goes with the boots and same goes with the hat, I believe. Yeah, so I'm pretty well covered. It's not the best clothes you could get, but it's pretty good. Of course they don't work in the open fields, but I don't worry about that too much because once I'm in the field, I'm not that sort of glassing the fields from the foliage. I'm not standing in the middle of the field and looking around. And they're sort of so big that the animals don't tend to see you if they're on one side of the field and you're creeping along on the other side anyway. So, I mean, I'm sure the field camo is useful. I just thought a little bit more bang for my buck to get the fall forest camo. Because I'm not one of these blokes that's looking at spending thousands of dollars on this game, especially with the new one, Call of the Wild, just around the corner. I'm happy to drop $100 or so on it. It's worth that to me. But that'll do me. And I'm pretty well covered. the wild boars you'll find pretty much all over this map. They do tend to be concentrated a little bit more in the north, I think. It might just be my imagination, it might just be because that's what I've heard other people say, but I have seen them pretty much everywhere, all over the place. So I just like to start in the north and work my way down, because the wind is usually sort of going in a northwards direction, so I like to be walking into the wind, because these wild boars, they've got a pretty decent snoz on them, pretty decent nose. In other words, they can smell you coming from a while, from a good distance away. Their eyesight isn't great, and their hearing isn't fantastic, but they'll smell you all right. I think it'd be really good if they introduced the wild boar onto the French map as well, because sanglier, as they call it in France, the wild boars, if you ever read Asterix and Obelix comics, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's what we're after, and they're pretty common in France as well, so I don't know why they're not on that map. Maybe they're just not common in those sort of mountain regions where the French map is based. It's kind of in the French Alps. I don't know, I should look into it. But this is the only map that wild boar are on, and it's kind of a pity, because they're a really good fun animal to hunt. They look nice and ferocious, big tusks, get really big. They're a good challenge. They sort of trot randomly through the bush, going in lots of different directions. They're kind of hard to track, so it's a good challenge, and it's very rewarding when you pick up a big one. Maybe fittingly, I just got a text Merry Christmas from my mate Paul, who lives in France, and he's the first bloke that served me sanglier, wild boar, which is what I'm hunting right now. So there we go. That's maybe a good luck token, a good luck sign. Thanks, Paul. Merry Christmas to you too, mate. Really good bloke, Paul. Good friend of mine. Hopefully I'll be eating sanglier with him again soon one day. But right now I'm going for the virtual kind. Which are not as dangerous, and a little bit easier to spot, although we're not having much luck right at this moment. So the light looks like it's starting to improve a bit. It's 10 to 6 in the morning, game time. I think I would have spotted anything there with my naked eye, but it never hurts to be careful. You can see sometimes if you manage to see those leaves blowing, you can see that right now we're walking with the wind. That's why I sort of like to start up north and head down south, because you're usually walking against the wind. But obviously when you're dealing with an animal that's got a pretty keen sense of smell, like the feral hogs or the wild boars, you want to be walking against the wind, so they have a hard time sniffing you out. Check out that track in a minute. I'll just quickly have a quick glass of this field first. Right, just on the edge of that field there, I've come across some wild boar tracks. Looks like there's a group of them. They do move pretty randomly, so you're never quite sure if the cone on the hunter mate is pointing in the right direction. Yeah, the weather effects are really good in the game. It's a little bit annoying that they're so fleeting though, because it's just not really realistic. It's pissing down rain, and then it's sunny, and then it's raining again, and then it's overcast, and the weather just changes so often and so randomly. It's not real realistic. It looks like they're heading towards my feeder, which I probably should have guessed at, but that'd be funny. I just filled it up at the start of the game. It was empty, and I have been in the area. So I'm just going to head back up to this blind and just hang out for a while. See if I can get them to turn around. If they're even still in the area. They might have gone too far. Well, looks like I've attracted a pheasant, but not much else. There seems to be something wrong with the depth, the perspective in this game, because that hog feeder looks closer to the pheasant, but the size difference looks not right. It looks like it'd be a giant pheasant, or that it should be standing sort of there. There's another one there. Maybe if I could hit one with a crossbow. Got to give up if I can't hit this one. Not what I was after, pheasants, but at least I won't go hungry tonight. So my little experiment with luring the wild boars back to the blind didn't work. I guess they were just too far away. So I'm back on their trail, and they would have covered quite a bit of distance since I've just been sitting in the blind for a while, so I'm just going to walk along at a normal pace. I won't bother crouching because they're probably a long way off. There we go, all the checking tracks paid off. I've just levelled up, level 7 wild boar tracker now. I'm just taking it a little slowly because you never know, they could just be over this ridge feeding, although I think if they were, they would have responded to the lure calls and stuff, and they didn't. So I'm pretty confident they're not here. So I'm going to guess that they've come down here and crossed over the river somewhere down here. Be able to see where when we get a little closer. Just spotted another deer on the other side of the... Really got to get my buttons sorted out. Might be the same one even. And you can see, yeah, I'm guessing this is where the wild pigs might have come down and crossed over. Looks a bit... There's not actually any crossing there, so I don't know how they got over it. Maybe they can swim. So finally picked up the trail of the wild boars again, and it's just started raining. Be nice to see them in the field over this crest here, out in the open. But it has not been my day so far, so I don't know why I'd be so lucky. There you go, been tracking these for quite a while. See how they react to that. Looks like they do not care. last one there is the bigger one. They don't have great eyesight, these animals, so should be pretty safe. Just want to find which slot I've got the spotting scope in. They really do not seem to care too much about my attempts to lure them. Guess I'm just too far away still. Either that or they just don't care. Just making sure none of them are turning around and heading back at me. Actually just going to mask my smell a bit. Just in case that's what's kind of driving them on. Using the hay barrel there for a bit of cover. Just still not interested. Just taking advantage of the forest here to conceal myself a little bit. I do have some camouflage clothes, so hopefully it'll give me a little bit of an advantage to move along a little bit quickly through here. Try and cover the ground between me and the wild boars without them spotting me. Shit. It's no good at all. Guess one of them did turn around without me noticing. That's damn annoying. Should have been a little more careful, I guess. That's the big one right in front of me. So that's the one I want to shoot. Next time. Surprised she didn't drop. I thought I got her right in the head, but it can be a bit risky taking those kind of headshots from that distance. Especially if you're not a real good shot like me. Right, turned out to be a pretty decent shot, lungs and heart. I'll just, I'm pretty sure she's just there in front of me. I'm just going to use these tracks to increase my tracking skill as much as I can. It was a group of females, not really ideal, but there was one sort of decent sized one among them. There she is. So I think that shows how off my spotting is. I think it said that she was 140 to 210 kilos or something. I don't know, I'll have to go back and check the video, but it turns out she's only 127, so it was a bit of a waste, that was. It is certainly not going to help in the competition that I've entered in, but it's something. It's a start. So from here I'll head back up north, see if we can find some more pigs. Didn't have to go far at all. It looks like there's, wow, a really nice male. If my spotting skill is right, that would be a really nice one. And probably rust that a bit. I should have taken my time. I just thought that I had the scope right over his lungs, and I thought I may as well take the shot, but Didn't really account for bullet drop and it was a fair distance away. That'll be really annoying if I've stuffed that up. That will be really annoying because he ran off, didn't look like he was stopping anytime soon. I thought it was a good shot, but I really should have stalked him, been a little bit more patient, stalked him, got closer, got a much better shot. So he has been hit, but not a good one, not a heart or a lung shot. You can tell because of the colour of the blood on the ground. If it's a heart or a lung shot, it's much brighter coloured. I had another shot at him somewhere around here. Might have hit him again and slowed him down a bit, but just always take your time. That's really annoying. He is bleeding a lot though, so there's a lot of blood on the ground. You can see it's that darker coloured blood. If you get a good shot in a vital organ, it's usually a lot brighter. Almost something just spooked in. I hope it wasn't the pig, because that would mean he's still alive somewhere. Instead of on the ground somewhere. What's this? It's a different one. This is the one we were following before. Ah, he's just up there, so he didn't get too far. But still, it's usually much better to really take your time. I can see another one down there. That also looks like a pretty decent. Decent one. Just marking the spot where I've seen him last. He's still there. No, it's a female and it's not that big. But this fella is fairly impressive, really. Looks to me anyway, looks a bit like a werewolf. Wow. Wow. That's gonna, I think that's gonna put me in first place. 236 kilos. It's the biggest one I've shot in this game. Hit him in the body and then again in the leg. So not the greatest shooting, but man, that's, wow. That's definitely the biggest one I've ever got. I'll definitely be taking a trophy shot of this one. That'll do. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'll get an update. It'll tell me where I'm coming in the competition in a minute. It'll be interesting to see if that is first place. I think it'll definitely be top 3. Should get an update in the top right hand corner anytime soon. Or maybe it popped up before when I was taking the photo and I missed it. That's probably what happened. But it's going to be a pretty decent score, so anyway. But that is first place. And it's first place by a pretty comfortable little margin too, I think. So that was 10.60 I think the score was, and I think second place was 9.80 or something. So I reckon I've fluked a trophy. Might not be the gold trophy by the end of the 16 hours, but man, there's a pretty damn good chance that I'll be top 3 by the end of this. And I'm really happy about that. It'll only be my second trophy, no matter what colour it is. I did get a gold trophy for European rabbit hunting, and it was fun, but it was a real grind. I mean, I must have been shooting rabbits for 10 hours or something, just, trying to get those big ones. It was a real grind. I've got real lucky this time. This is my first attempt. Just walked across that real big wild boar just standing in the field. Almost fluffed it, I think I rushed my shot. I was probably a bit too far out, but I could tell it was a good boar as soon as I saw it, and I didn't want to waste that sort of chance. I thought I had a good shot on him. I didn't. I probably should have aimed a little bit higher than what I did, but I took him down anyway. Got a second shot as he was running away, which probably slowed him down a little bit. Decreased the wound time probably a little bit over what it would have been. And man, that was a real nice wild boar. That's definitely the best boar I've ever shot in this game, and I've shot quite a few of them. Well, not heaps, to be honest. I mean, some people have shot thousands of animals in this game. They've been playing it for years and years, but I do like hunting the wild boar because I like sanglier. I like eating it in real life, and I've always just been. There's another male just over the water here. Being a little bit greedy after just getting so lucky, but gotta have a look. He's got to be just around here somewhere. Can't see him. Oh, there, we just saw him as I put the... I'm assuming that's the one that called. There's actually 2 of them there. I didn't get a good look. Maybe that wasn't the male. I just sort of assumed it was. I just saw another one running off as I took the shot then, so just just a little bit excited, a little bit flustered over getting that big one just before, and I've probably fluffed it again, but I thought I fluffed it last time and it turned out alright, so we'll have a look what we've got. I'm pretty sure I must have hit it. Didn't look like it's going to be the sort of same sort of wild boar that I got the first time, and it's definitely not. Oh, actually, thinking back, I'm not even sure if I shot a male this time, but so you can see the brighter blood spot there. That sort of indicates that it was a good shot, lungs and heart. So this boar isn't getting far, or lungs or heart. But we can be pretty sure this one isn't getting too far. They are big animals. They've got a protective layer of fat on them. You can see that's nowhere near the sort of pig that I got before, and doesn't even. Oh, it's got tusks, so it was a male. But you can see it's just not anywhere near the same sort of animal as far as a trophy boar goes. Oh, it's tiny, so it's only 80 kilos. I think the one I got before was at 220 or something. That was a real big beast. Like I said, the biggest one I've seen in the game. Looked a little bit grey, that bigger one, which is unusual. Usually when you see the grey ones, they're females. And I'll have to look back on the video, but I think that big fella I got, I think he was kind of a greyish colour. So there was another pig in the area. I saw it run away. Another wild boar, I should say, another sanglier. I don't know if I'll bother trying to track it down, because I saw it as it ran, and it didn't look real big. It's going to be really hard to beat that 1,000, whatever I got, 1,060. It's going to take some doing. Someone probably will though. Hopefully I'll end up with a silver or at least a bronze trophy for that. I mean, and you never know, maybe even a gold. There is 16 hours to go. I'm currently coming first. And I'll definitely be uploading this video, of course, just because it was such a good wild boar, and there was so little action at the start. It just goes to show you persist, and you'll get there in the end. You'll get something. Sometimes this game does take a lot of patience. It is not Quake, that's for sure. Some roe deer been hanging out in this field. The reason I'm running now, in case anyone is wondering, just because the gunshot would have scared off any animals in this kind of area, so there's not too big a risk of me upsetting animals. Once I get to the hills over there, I'll start crouching and sort of checking out the fields that are behind the crests there. I kind of hope I do get the gold trophy, because of the wild boar and the rabbits, the European rabbits and the feral pigs are my favourite animals to hunt in the game. Well, actually I really like hunting bighorn sheep as well. I never see a competition for them, but it'd be nice to have 2 gold trophies for the animals that I most enjoy hunting, which is the really the rabbits and the sanglier, the wild boars. Probably not going to end up that way. It's probably going to be a silver or a bronze. I think I'd be really unlucky not to get anything at all, but that could happen as well. Female roe deer. Certainly not interested in shooting Bambi. I'll just leave her to be. Leave her be. You can see she's spotted me there. The animals in this game act pretty realistically. You know, that's exactly what a deer would do. They'd just sit there and with their ears pointed out like that, staring straight at you. And then after a while they'll just sort of bounce off. And bounce is the operative word. That one really is bouncing. But really nice. It really feels realistic. Really can't wait to check out Call of the Wild, because if it's a big improvement over this, man, it's going to be a good game. And I mean, already graphically, you can tell from looking at the beta YouTube videos. If you want to check out something, I'd recommend looking up Who Cares. That's HOOCAIRS. Makes really nice videos. I've watched a lot of his videos. He's got a pretty thick German or Austrian accent or something, but couldn't be harder to understand than mine if you don't share the accent. There's another bloke makes really good ones too. I really like watching his. I just can't quite think of his. Something Ronnie McYouTube or Ronnie McTube or something like that. Tubey McYouTube or something. I don't know. But he's sounds like an English fella. Makes really interesting videos too. Keeps me watching them. I really enjoy watching his. Actually, I'll find out who that is, and I'll put it in text on the screen there. I'll put both their names in case anyone's watching this and they want to check out some Call of the Wild stuff. And you can look up their videos. They're basically the two guys that I watch the most. Man, that sounds cool. That's a red deer. I love the sound of their, it's like they're almost roaring. That's a really cool noise. Especially with your headphones on. I've got a pretty good sound system in this computer. I've got a Sound Blaster Z, so it's kind of something that people rarely upgrade is their sound card on a computer these days. But I've done that. I've got a Sound Blaster Z in there, and it does make a difference. Especially when you're wearing headphones, or if you've got a surround sound setup or something. It sounds real nice. And those red deer, they sound great. Okay, so I've picked up a boar track here. Probably come down and crossed over the water here, so I'll do the same and just start glassing the field on the other side there. When they head down to the water like that, you find tracks leading to the water. They usually do cross over at some point. It's not often that they sort of turn around and come back. I guess the animals in the game know where the water crossings are and they kind of head for them. Probably a pretty good spot to set up a... oh, look at that, there's the red deer. It's got some big old antlers on him there. Just see moving through the forest. They're really impressive. I really like them. and that noise they make just makes them a little bit more impressive. I could take a shot at him, but I'm not, I'm not hunting red deer at the moment, and I don't want to scare off other animals that are around. I could go after it with the crossbow as well, but sometimes I like just to sit and watch them, you know. You don't have to shoot everything you see. Even though it's just a game and it doesn't really matter. Guess you pick up a few points for shooting them or whatever, but I like just to watch them sometimes. The guys developers have done such a great job on their on the animations and the animal behaviour that it's really worth just taking your time and appreciating the game sometimes. So I just noticed that wild boar track is now fleeing. He must have seen me come out of the bush, and I didn't notice him down there in the water. Or he or she, I'm not sure which one yet. Maybe we'll find it just standing in the middle of one of these fields. Because sometimes they don't flee for a real long distance, especially if they're not being chased. And maybe it might be in range just over the hill here, but we'll find out. If you keep following those fleeing tracks, if you find more of them, the animal will sort of calm down after a while and go back to kind of regular roaming. And so if you spot a nice animal and you spook it and it runs off, all is not lost. You can just keep tracking it and it will calm down after a while. So if it's a real nice trophy, you don't have to let it go, but you can just see it moving around. I don't know if you saw, it was just through the trees directly ahead of me. Just going to mark the ground there. So by clicking the mouse button with the binoculars out, it marks the ground. You can see a red dot on the ground there. It's probably the wild boar that I've been looking at, maybe not, but in any case, it's a boar. And I know roughly where it is, so I'm going to head over there. Check it out. Some deer poo. I can't see any tracks going across this field in this way, so it's quite possibly a different animal to the one that I spooked. But I've got no idea what I was looking at, the one that I spooked, so it doesn't really... So it's a male, that's a good thing. He's real close. I do have some camo gear on, so I might be pretty well hidden in this kind of forest up here. I've got some forest camo on. Just going to apply a bit of this scent spray. Give me a little bit of an advantage. Hopefully you won't be able to smell me. got to be somewhere close. He's maybe trotted off. He's right in front of me. Ah, yeah, I think I can see him actually. In the fields. Over there. Oh, maybe not. He is in the field there somewhere. Going for a little bit higher ground. There he is. Looks like a pretty decent one, maybe. Wow, could really be. Got a great shot at him. Prone. I think that's dropped him straight away. There he is. Oh, that could be another good one. That really could be another good one. It'll be for sure a decent one. So I couldn't see him before. He was obviously just down in that slight valley, that slight depression in the field there. He's got some decent tusks. Doesn't look the same colour as the first one, I've got to say, but nah, not even close. 140 kilos. Great shot though, if I may say so myself. There we go, 25 wild boar. So I know exactly how many I got. So you can see the bullet wound there, right between the eyes. Taking those headshots can be a bit risky. You're better off going for the lungs and the heart. It's a bigger target. There's no hard bones protecting them. Well, there's the shoulder blade if you muck it up and the ribs, but generally you're better off going for the heart and lungs. But you know, that was he was looking directly at me and I was prone and it was an easy shot. So nice. We're back at the old feeder. Anything that was there would have run off, of course, but just showing you where it is. I've got a blind set up in the forest up there. Feeder's down there. You can have a look on the map. We've been all over the place on this hunt. Haven't checked out this area up north yet. I think I might actually head down south though. Can always check out that area next time. just snuck up over the ridge here. I can see a deer through there. Look at that, big red deer. Nice antlers. Impressive. I'm hunting wild boar, not hunting red deer. So I'll just leave him alone. That little fellow though, not so lucky. Pheasants don't give you a big score because they're so easy to shoot. But I just want to try and increase my skill with this crossbow a little bit. So any practice is good practice. Good shot. You see the crossbow bolt's gone straight through him. Done. Don't know if too many people take trophy shots of pheasants, but that's my first. Just glassing around this field, found a looks like a female roe deer. No wild boars there. Wild boars tend to be a little bit more active, feeding in the fields than that earlier in the morning, which is why I like to start at 5 and hunt through just sort of midday. So just keep on going. Probably quit this hunt fairly soon, start a new one earlier in the morning. I've got a couple more fields to check out before I do that. I've come across some geese in the next field, still no wild boars, which is what I'm after. Just come over this mound, come across a couple of red deers, looks like a doe and a male. was not a good hit on that red deer, unfortunately. I'd feel super bad if it was not a computer game. Because they're pretty noble, mighty looking things. Don't want to wound them and make them suffer. What are you doing, mate? Probably the biggest pheasant I've ever shot. I don't do much pheasant shooting now unless it's kind of random. Yeah, even though it's a game, I kind of feel bad shooting those red deer. They're just such impressive things. And this is kind of sad, even though it's a computer game, but it looks like he's down in the field there and he's not dead. I mean, it's nice that they put this kind of realism into the game, but it's really, it makes me sad even though it's a computer game. I don't like that. Strange, I shot him in the head and he still took quite a while to die, but yeah, I don't feel real good about that at all. But anyhow, I'll get a trophy shot. It is only a computer game. Well, I just wouldn't be able to do it in real life, I don't think. So, on that slightly sad note, I'm going to end this hunt. And if there's time, I might continue making this competition hunting video after a short break. Start again a new hunt in the morning in the north. G'day guys, I'm back and I'm happy to say first place in the competition. Not even by a small amount. I've got a good 80 points between me and the next bloke, which is really nice. I'm at the top of Hirschfelden, right up in the north. The reason I start in the north, you can see those leaves there. They're blowing northwards. That means that's the direction the wind is going. I'm going to be walking back down that way, so I'll be walking bang into the wind, and that will help disguise my scent. That's my tent there at the top of Hirschfelden, right here. And the feeder and the blind are there. I'm just going to head down there. I don't expect anything to be there because I only filled it up a couple of hours ago, and it usually, well, maybe 4 hours ago. It usually takes a day or two for it to start taking effect. One thing I have done a little bit differently is I've got this face paint on. So that face paint will just provide me with a little bit of extra camouflage. I'm going to get going down now, have a look at the feeder, and we'll take it from there. I've just snuck up to the next field, spotted, looks like a doe roe deer, what it is, in the field down there. I don't really want to spook her, I don't want her to bolt off into the bush. just creep past on the left hand side there. That piercing squeal you just heard, that's the roe deer call. I'm going to go into the forest over there, continue my way up towards the blind. Walking through the forest like this, it is a little bit louder than walking on the dirt or the open fields, but it gives you much better camouflage, or especially if you're wearing camouflage gear, so it's a bit of a compromise. Just as I'm talking, I can see two pigs up there. It's a small female. The other one didn't look too much bigger. Just disappearing behind the tree before I get a spot on it. And the other one looks a little bit bigger, but two sort of pretty average sized females. You can hear them squealing there. You can probably see the blind directly in front of where I'm looking. So it looks like that feed has done its job. It's probably been 4 or 5 hours since the start of the first part of this video. We've got a couple of pigs around the feeder, so I'm going to sneak up to that blind, jump in there and have a look around, see what there is in the area. So that feed has certainly done its job. You can see there's at least 4 pigs around. Pretty well concealed in this blind. I don't think they can really see very well from there. So that's the one we're after, I'd say. At least one sort of decent sized male. I think that's, oh, maybe the snake. Oh, that's him there. Well, there's quite a few pigs in the area, that's for sure. Well, it wasn't a great shot. It hit him in the intestines, but you can see the feeder over there. He didn't get real far. It's not a high scoring boar. You can see this one, the T there, means that the score of this one is calculated by its tusks, not its weight. If it's a W there, then it means the score is calculated by the weight. So he's probably got some pretty decent tusks on him. There you go. There's a pheasant right there. Just ignored all of that. So I've just come to that ridge line where the boar's all flat over, and I think ahead of me is maybe one of the boars that was fleeing and has just stopped in the field there. Looks like it, not a particularly high scoring female, sort of fairly average kind of weight. See if I can lure her up and hit her with the crossbow so as not to freak out any other animals that are in the area. She's not having a bar of it. She's probably still pretty nervous, so it's understandable. You can see another, I've just spotted another pig running across the hill back there, probably another one of the ones that was fleeing before. But there is one right in front of me just behind this tree. And there's another one to the right of me somewhere. I think that's just too long a shot to take with the crossbow, especially for an absolute amateur like me. She's slowly coming this direction. I do have the wind at my back, so she probably can't smell me. And you could probably just see her go down over there. There's the kill, lying in the field. Nice and quiet. Wouldn't have spooked anything else that was around. I did hear one to the right of me just before I took the shot. But that would have been another one of those sort of average sized females, I think. So probably not really worth chasing around. It's a pretty good shot with the crossbow. There's another pig right there. The first one is, I can see that that one that I just hit running off into the bush there wasn't as good a hit, unfortunately. Get that one in the intestine. I'll go and collect this kill, give that one time to die, and then I'll go and grab that one. Okay, so this is the first one I hit with the crossbow. Yeah, very average kind of score. 118 kilos, put the crossbow bolt through both lungs, so that was a good shot. Now I've got to go and track down the other one that I shot. You can see the fish in the water there. Not very spooky fish. I've tried shooting them, but nothing happens. Anyway, still on the trail of this boar that I've wounded. I can see tracks going along the shore here. That's a male. I'm just going to abandon searching for this one for a moment, just to try and chase this male in case it's a big high scoring one. I'll mark the point where I've seen the tracks last. Let's see if I can find this male. Oh, there he is there. Definitely hit him. I saw the blood drop as soon as I hit him. Looked like it could have been a good one. I don't know actually. The only reason I'm thinking that is because the first really high scoring male I got was that same grey colour, and you rarely ever see the males in that grey colour, so that was another grey male. I thought I'd have a crack. You can see I've managed to track down the second female boar that I hit with the crossbow. Wasn't a good shot, unfortunately. Took a full 4 minutes to die. It's a bit unfortunate. Not a good score either. Now I'll go and see if I can track down the male I just hit. You can see the blood stain there. It was actually a good shot after all. From a distance, when I first had a look at it, it sort of looked like it was dark blood, which usually means that you didn't hit them in a vital organ. But you can see the light colour of that blood means I hit it in the lungs or heart, and it's right in front of me. It didn't get very far. And you know what? It wasn't even the male. There was another one with it. The other one must have been the male. So like I was saying, usually when they're this grey colour, they're usually females. At least that one was a good shot. Let's see if we can track down this male that ran off into the bush. So I've been looking around for the boar that fled, which I thought was a male. I've found another female boar. So maybe there was actually 3 of them, because it was a male call that I followed to this area. I'm going to really carefully just scout out this around and see if I can find a male pig somewhere around without spooking that female. Just going to be careful, just wait a little while just in case there's a male with her. See if the male comes trotting out of the bush a few seconds afterwards. Doesn't look like it. Always pays off to be a little cautious there. So there is 2 pigs down there. So I've just come up over that ridge. I've been searching for the male boar that fled, and I've come across this group of pigs in the field just very nearby. It looks like they're all females, and none of them very big either, but they just keep coming from over that ridge there. So this might be number 6, I think. And it's another female. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Quite a few boars in the area. Not really too interested in taking a shot at any of these wild boars, because none of them are going to be really high scoring, and I'd prefer just not to spook anything else that's around. So I'm going to let them move off into the forest there. Just keep an eye on them. Just make my way across the field and I'll keep an eye on them. I'm going for quality, not quantity here, so there's no point spooking anything else that might be in the area just to kill an average or even below average scoring female boar. You know, I'm aiming for that one good one. And we've got a male dead ahead of us. So fingers crossed, being a little bit careful's paid off. We'll find out in a minute. Just creeping up real slow towards where I heard that male wild boar call. Hopefully I won't spook him. He is pretty close, but they do move pretty quickly, so he's probably not in exactly the same spot as he was when I heard the call. Just trying to come up really quiet. Just a few crouching steps at a time. I've got some camo gear on, so I want to stay in the forest. You can see the way the wind is blowing, so Looks like there's two boars dead ahead. Be interesting to see how big they are. There's our male. He looks a good size. Certainly is. Try and get a better shot. Just marking the point where I saw the other one flee. Thought I had a decent shot on that one. We'll see when we get over there. Okay, so I'm just approaching the area where I've hit that male boar. Looked to be a pretty good one. You see the bright red blood, good indication that I've got him in a pretty fatal spot, so he's not going to get too far. It was a good shot. He didn't get far. And now comes the moment of truth. Is he a good one? Certainly got some pretty impressive tusks on him. You know, it's a moderately high scoring boar. I think the top 10 in the competition are all above 800, I'm pretty sure. This one's scored from the tusks. You can tell that from the T value there. Weighs 150 kilos. Not too bad. Alright, so let's see if we can chase down his mate. See where he got off to. See if he's any bigger. So I picked up the tracks of the boar that was fleeing. Looks like he's crossed the river here. So we're on his tail. And just as I'm talking, I've just spotted a deer just between those trees up there. Hasn't seen me yet. Looks like a female roe deer. She's probably coming down to cross. So I'm just in the area where I saw the roe deer on the other side of the river. I haven't been able to pick up the boar tracks from the bloke who was fleeing, so I'm just going to let him go, and hopefully we'll come across his bigger, meaner brother. Ahead. I just saw a boar off in the distance between the trees up ahead. Was just trotting along the road up there, so I'm going to head over there and see if I can pick up the trail. Might have been the one that I scared off before. Possibly just a new animal. But we'll see if we can track it down and see if it's a high scoring boar. There it is, just disappearing into the bush there. Just marked the last place that I saw it. So I've got that on my hunter mate, the red dot there. Just applying a little bit of scent eliminator because now I'm a bit further south on the map. The wind isn't blowing in a favourable direction for me anymore, and these wild boars have got a pretty keen sense of smell, so just help me out a little bit hopefully. there's quite a few of them down there. That one looks to be the biggest one with the naked eye. Doesn't look like any males. I always want to spot as many as I can, even if I'm not planning on shooting them, because it will increase my spotting skill and I'll get better and better at judging the size of the boars by looking at them. I think the spotting information will sort of show up quicker as well. As it is now, it kind of takes a little while. There was a few of them down there, but no shooters. Those wild boars that were in this field just disappeared off into the forest up there. I decided to leave those ones for Asterix and Obelix to hunt. Obelix needs about 6 of them anyway, he's a big lad. Likes his wild boars. So I've just been creeping around, glassing a few fields, not spotting any more boars. You can see I'm about halfway down the map. Looks like we've got a female red deer, couple of, oh, looks like there's a whole herd of red deer does. Once again, I just like to get the spotting information just to increase my spotting skill. And there's a buck with them as well. I'm not going to get much of a photo from this distance. They really should introduce a zoom lens camera in this game. I think people would use it. I mean, this one has got a zoom, but it's pretty crappy. I mean, like a hardcore photographer's camera. Looks like I can get pretty close to these animals without them spooking. Oh, he's just spotted me. So I'll back away. There they go. Oh well, that was fun. See how close I could get to them, and I could get pretty damn close, really. But we're looking to shoot big male wild boar, not photograph red deer. So on we go. Just spotted another two does moving around up in the bush up there, up in the trees. More red deer. Looks like there's a lot of red deer in this area. Sun's come back out, it's nice, gives us a bit more visibility. Just have a look where I am. I'm down towards the south. If I ever want to go red deer hunting, I'll know where to come. Just moving slowly through these fields, glassing as I go. That was a red deer. One of the does over there. The males sound a little bit more impressive even than that. They really sound like they're roaring. But I've come down fairly south. The wild boars tend to be more in the north, although they are all over the map. So I'm going to have just a quick look at the next field. Just spotted some more deer in the distance behind the hay barrels down there. That one looks like a roe deer probably. Still not an expert at this game by any stretch. A relative newcomer. Got plenty of roe deer, Canada geese. They make a lot of noise, as you don't need me to tell you. That is not what we're looking for. Just wonder if I can get that goose with a crossbow. I don't think I've ever shot a Canada goose, so it might be another little feather in the cap, no pun intended. There's one that's even a little bit closer. There doesn't seem to be any wild boar around this far south, so just to entertain myself with what's here. Not bad, if I may say so myself, especially for an absolute crossbow novice. Well, the rest of them are spooked. I'll go and collect this kill, which will be my first Canada goose. And I will do so pretty quietly, just in case there's a monster pig over this little hill. Gotta think positively. Not a monster pig, there's a small deer. Not quite as good, little male roe deer. Just watch him for a little while. He's got no idea we're here. Could easily shoot him. But I'm going to go and collect my Canada goose. We can have sanglier pâté and goose liver. Sanglier, which is wild boar, and goose liver pâté. Crossbow bolt has gone right through the poor thing's bum, but killed it outright. So Canada goose, it's not really what we're looking for, but I think it's been a successful hunt in Hirschfelden. Picked up some nice photographs of red deer, picked up some nice trophy photographs, and of course one real monster of a wild boar that I hope is going to take a gold trophy. We'll just have to wait and see. It's now the next morning, the 26th of December 2016, and I did bag the gold trophy. So, we can just quickly check out the leaderboard. The results didn't change too much from last night, and I came away a pretty clear winner. Pure luck, mind you. Anyway, see you next time.